Hi, Joe Castro here with another 2-minute drill. Today, 2-minute drill is in honor of Election Day in the US. I voted. So this is going to be a little bit different than before. This is going to be a data model challenge. And instead of showing you a topic to read, I'm just going to briefly describe what you're supposed to model. Today, you're going to be building a voting system. So pay particular attention. We really want you to be able to create a system that allows the United States at whatever level, or take your country of your pick, to be able to run an election, have the ballots with candidates, be sure that it can allow write-in candidates, and that in any given ballot that you should be able to have different levels. In the States, we go from like kind of local level precinct up to city elections, state, and then national elections. So your data model, again, should be able to, for a given election, show all of the offices that are available, what candidates are running for office, the different party affiliations. Take about 10 minutes. I did this, it did take me 10 or longer, although, see what you can do in 10 minutes. The idea here, what you need to be able to do is understand a topic. Maybe you have a lot of experience with elections, maybe you have none. This is to get you a little bit more exposure to different type of object models that you might be asked to solve for. So again, just to clarify, the problem is create a voting system, right? The voting system should be able to run an election for candidates that are running for offices at different levels, city, state, national levels for different parties. Bonus if you can create, how would I actually take that and cast a ballot for an individual voter. So see what you can do in 10 minutes, take 10, 20 minutes, whatever it takes, and then come back to me and I'll give you a little bit more detail on what my solution was. All right, well, let's take a look at my data model. First off, this really wasn't necessarily a challenge to decide, what standard objects you should use in Salesforce. This is more of a pure data modeling exercise. So at the core of my data model, you'll see is the election object, right? And so for a given election, there are multiple offices that should be, that are going to be kind of, will be cast votes for in this election. And if you notice, there are candidates that are running for each of these offices. I actually have a party lookup. In the States, you might think it's a two-party system, but over the years, we do have different parties that come in and out. The Tea Party, Libertarian Party, Independents. So I actually kept that as a separate object. And then off to the side of an individual office, I had, at first, again, you could choose to say, oh, I'm going to have a pick list at what level is this office. But with that need to be able to traverse up and say, hey, I've got an office that's at the local level, and then to be able to construct a ballot, I actually created I just called it office level. I didn't have a really good understanding of what that was. But the idea is that could be a precinct, it could be a city, state, national type of election, what level that office sits at. And why I did that is because when I'm going to actually create a ballot for my user, I'm going to take my voter and I'm going to attach my voter to a level. It's in the States, it's actually the precinct level. It's kind of your local level. And then from there, I'll actually have Apex that says, all right, well, give me all the parent hierarchy, so I know all of the offices that you are eligible for. So for instance, for me in River Place in Austin, I would get my local election, I would roll up to the city of Austin elections, I would roll up to the state and national. For somebody else that was living in Houston, they would get their local candidates for the offices, and then it would roll up in a similar fashion. So as you can see, I kind of have that office level there. And then what I have is actually at the voter, I have a ballot, and that ballot is for a given election. For this voter, here is the ballot that was cast, right? And what I have finally is the choices, the selections. Again, I'm not sure what the great name for this is, but these are the actual selections I've made in this ballot. So what I'm doing there is I have lookups to the actual, okay, well, for this office, which is on my ballot, again, because that Apex had said, here are all the offices that I'm voting on. Here are all the different candidates, and I would copy and say, this is my selected candidate. Obviously, this is just about the data model. There's probably a good bit of both security and kind of just robustness that needs to be built into a system that would actually be a voter registration system, or sorry, a voter management system. But at least this, just from a core data model perspective, should have given you a couple of things. We didn't go into the security of things, but you should be thinking about where are their lookups. For instance, one of the lookups I had was towards a candidate. So for a given office, if I wanted to be able to select a candidate, I should be able to select that. But if I wanted to write in a candidate, I can't make that choice a master detail to a candidate, right? Because I have to be able to, on my choice, be able to write in something. So, kind of a good use of, when our master details need to be involved, good ways to think about that. And the other thing there is obviously, if you look at it, my ballot object is a junction object that's very important in here. The junction between the user and the election is my ballot. So anyway, I hope everybody voted and voted correctly. And thank you for coming and watching this. I hope it gave you some things to think about, and I'll try and get on a better, more regular cadence in the near future. Thank you. Have a great day.